Federal judge temporarily blocks Trump administration freeze on federal grants and loans. Washington, AP. A federal judge on Tuesday temporarily blocked a push from President Donald Trump to pause federal funding while his administration conducts an across-the-board ideological review to uproot progressive initiatives. The order capped the most chaotic day for the U.S. government since Trump returned to office, with uncertainty over a crucial financial lifeline causing panic and confusion among states, schools, and organizations that rely on trillions of dollars from Washington. U.S. District Judge Lauren L. Ali Khan blocked the funding freeze only minutes before it was scheduled to take effect. The administrative stay, prompted by a lawsuit brought by nonprofit groups that receive federal money, lasts until Monday afternoon. Another court hearing is scheduled that morning to consider the issue. The White House did not immediately comment on the order, which leaves unresolved a potential constitutional clash over control of taxpayer money. Democrats who have struggled to gain a foothold during Trump's second term unleashed on the Republican president, describing his actions as capricious and illegal. Administration officials said the decision to halt loans and grants was necessary to ensure that spending complies with Trump's recent blitz of executive orders. The Republican president wants to increase fossil fuel production, remove protections for transgender people, and end diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Pardons by Trump, Biden revealed distrust of each other and wobbly faith in criminal justice system. But a vaguely worded memo issued by the Office of Management and Budget, combined with incomplete answers from the White House throughout the day, left lawmakers, public officials, and average Americans struggling to figure out what programs would be affected by the pause. Even temporary interruptions in funding could cause layoffs or delays in public services. This sort of came out of the blue, said David Smith, a spokesperson for the Shawnee Mission School District in Kansas, one of countless districts that receive federal funding. Now they're trying to figure out what it means based on zero information. Democrats argued that the president had no right to unilaterally stop spending money appropriated by Congress. Just minutes after Ali Khan made her ruling, Democratic attorneys general from 22 states and the District of Columbia filed their own lawsuit seeking to block and permanently prevent the administration from cutting off federal funding. Democratic senators are describing panicked calls coming overnight from communities back home, afraid of what will happen to programs for children, seniors, public works, and disease research as the Trump administration pauses federal funding for review. There is no question this policy is reckless, dangerous, illegal, and unconstitutional, New York Attorney General Letitia James said. Ali Khan, who was appointed by President Joe Biden, questioned how much the details of the funding freeze had been nailed down as she issued her order. It seems like the federal government currently doesn't actually know the full extent of the programs that are going to be subject to the pause, she said. Jessica Morton, an attorney for the National Council of Nonprofits, which brought the suit, said the group has tens of thousands of members around the country who could be affected. Our client members have reported being extremely concerned about having to shutter if there's even a brief pause, Morton said. Justice Department Attorney Daniel Shway argued that the freeze shouldn't be put on hold because the plaintiffs hadn't specified anyone who would immediately lose funding if it does go into effect. Trump administration officials said programs that provide direct assistance to Americans would not be affected, such as Medicare, Social Security, student loans, and food stamps. But they sometimes struggled to provide a clear picture. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt initially would not say whether Medicaid was exempted from the freeze, but the administration later clarified that it was. Although Trump had promised to turn Washington upside down if elected to a second term, the effects of his effort to pause funding were being felt far from the nation's capital. Organizations like Meals on Wheels, which receives federal money to deliver food to the elderly, were worried about getting cut off. The lack of clarity and uncertainty right now is creating chaos, spokeswoman Jenny Young said. She added that seniors may panic, not knowing where their next meals will come from. The National Science Foundation postponed this week's panels for reviewing grant applications. Officials in Pritchard, Alabama, feared they wouldn't receive infrastructure funding to fix their leaking drinking water system. Republican leaders in Louisiana said they were seeking Calais